the doctor who performed all this was not certified to perform this at that clinic?
That is absolutely correct, Nancy. The doctor, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, was not authorized to perform this procedure at the Yorkville Endoscopy Clinic, which is going to be a big problem for the clinic, the doctor going forward, because under New York law, it is required that the physician be licensed to practice at that facility. So not only do we have Joan Rivers, who didn't consent to have the biopsy, but the ear, nose, and throat doctor wasn't even licensed to perform there at the clinic.
Everybody, now there is talk that Melissa Rivers may file a lawsuit, and you know what? Everybody is always so careful to say, oh, she's not doing it for the money. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'd be mad if she didn't file a lawsuit. This place needs to be put out of business. And like Conrad Murray, I absolutely believe that with this doctor snapping a selfie with her unconscious there on the table, that this needs to be a criminal charge on that doctor. Now, talking about the money, Melissa Rivers says this is so it won't happen again. But Joan Rivers worked her entire life to amass a fortune to leave to her daughter, Melissa, and her grandson, Cooper. She worked like a dog, catching a show, performing a show at, say, 10 o'clock at night in Wisconsin, catching a plane back, getting back to New York at 3 a.m., bright and early up the next morning to work some more. This woman was a machine. Take a look at her home.
It's bacon, you idiot.
Nobody lives like this. Be the Queen of England.
This is how Maria Antoinette would have lived if she had had one. Here I am. I mean, everything is just everywhere you look. There are jokes. Everyone jokes to be filed, jokes to be written, jokes that I thought of something. I mean, my life is just jokes.
That is from IFC Films. I watched the documentary. It's called A Piece of Work, and shows her lifelong struggle to make it. She never let up. Back to Alan Duke, CNN digital reporter. I want to get back to, whoa, that is some crib. I want to get back, Alan, to why this doctor thought it was okay to take a picture of themselves with Joan Rivers as she's knocked out cold on propofol.
It's shocking. Why would she want to? She could take a picture with Joan Rivers anytime she wanted to. We understand it was her personal ear, nose, and throat doctor. She was something of a doctor with a lot of celebrity patients. So why did she think that this was the moment to do it? That is a tremendous, odd judgment for me. Perhaps it wasn't as deadly as the judgment of going and doing an unplanned biopsy, though.
Michael Christian, what do we know about the timeline? Everyone, for those of you just joining us, Joan Rivers absolutely could have been saved. She did not have to die. And tonight, the stunning details that are emerging inside that Yorkville Endoscopy Clinic. Michael, what's the timeline? What have we learned?
Nancy, the first call came into 911 at 9:40 in the morning. Now, within 5 minutes, a New York Fire Department engine company arrived on the scene at Yorkville Endoscopy, and that included trained medical responders. They said that when they got their clinic staff members...
Wait a minute. Yorkville Endoscopy calls, and within 5 minutes, the fire department's there, right?
With trained medical responders, yes.
Okay, so they rush in. What do they see when they get inside Yorkville Endoscopy?
It's been reported clinic staff members were already trying to save Rivers. A defibrillator had been hooked up to her, and a breathing tube had been placed in her windpipe. She was also receiving medications and CPR at that.
But here's the thing, Alan Duke, how many minutes passed before this doctor even realized she's not breathing? They're too busy taking a freaking selfie with Joan Rivers knocked out cold. I mean, how long did she go without breathing, without oxygen getting to her brain before they even decided to start resuscitation?
Well, it may not have been very long at all. I might point out that the selfie, apparently, we don't know when it was taken, but it could have been taken before the biopsy, and one would have to assume that it was. was while she was still under anesthesia, not while the doctor was performing the surgery.
Well, yeah, it's my understanding
to hold the
right
camera and do
before.
that.
I thought it was right before the procedure. She's knocked out, and right before the procedure, the doctor takes a selfie, and just moments after that, the cardiac arrest occurs. It's my understanding of the timeline.
We don't know exactly how many minutes it was, but I can tell you that in the clinic has assured us that they had all the monitoring and all the staffing in place to know when she became in distress. Now, once you become in distress, you should be able to do something about it, but this was apparently spun out of control.
Okay, let's go back to that. Michael Christian, you say that they immediately started defib. All right, Dr. Maroney, defib, explain.
The heart is a muscular bag that has contractions that are synchronized. When the heart stops being synchronized, instead of orderly contractions, it shakes, and there's no pumping action. There's no blood flow out of the heart to the brain, to the lungs, to the rest of the body. The heart just shakes. That's defibrillation.
So when you get, say, atrial defib, you zap the body?
There's a protocol that you monitor the EKGs, and that's where everybody stands around the table and somebody places the electrodes and they say clear, and you make sure nobody is close. Those pads have to be directly on the chest, and there's a lubricant that conducts electricity, and there's different settings for the electricity, and you go through a protocol of increasing settings for electricity, and it's to shock the heart, bam, electrically.
Not only to Comedy and her family, but if you had seen her or if you knew her, as many of us did, devoted herself to trying to stay relevant in an industry that was focused on youth, all right? Focused on appearance. There is no way in hell she would have wanted a picture out there of herself lying unconscious without a for surgery. Wait a minute. You can have no makeup, no jewelry, no nothing. You really think, and don't lie, Peter.
And Nancy, that is
you really
so unfair.
think that it would be okay with her to have her picture taken?
How do you know
with
that
a tube down her throat?
How do you know the doctor was taking it to put it out there? There's no evidence of that. That's pure speculation.
Why am I hearing this?
I don't know, Nancy. It just seems to me that it doesn't make a lot of sense, that the doctor really should be concentrating on the fact that he or she is taking care of her. In addition to which, what about her privacy? That's just,
really, Karen,
so
can you believe that the defense is arguing she wanted a photo taken of her laying out with no makeup, unconscious, on an operating table? She wanted the photo taken. You know what? That's how lawyers lose respect when they say things like that. This is a woman that devoted herself to comedy, to her fans, to her family, to staying relevant in the comedy industry. So very, very difficult in comedy that's predominantly ruled by men. Here's video of her from YouTube in QVC making a living for her family. And take a listen, her throat is raspy even here.
And this is mine, the gardenia. I just think it's the most beautiful, beautiful flower. It's a scent of now and forever. And I wish you could have that scent around you, because it's gardenia smells beautiful. So, and it's also just a damn pretty charm bracelet.
And it's 7.5 inches.
I love it. Look at that.
You can really adjust this. You can add on more charms. And I love Do It Now.
I love Do It Now, because all of us know you don't know what happens tomorrow. Do it now. Pick up a phone, call someone, say, I love you, hang up. Before they can say, yeah, well, screw you. Hang up.
You know what? Do it now.
Do it now.
That's all you...
Doctor with Joan Rivers as she lay unconscious down on the gurney to Alan Duke. Now, Dr. Cohen is the one that was the director of the Yorkville Endoscopy Clinic. He's resigned. Now, did he allow the other doctor in? Everybody, there's a photo of Lawrence Cohen, who, according to a source close to the investigation, performed the endoscopy on Rivers. reportedly present when Rivers' personal doctor started performing an unauthorized biopsy. Investigators believe Rivers' vocal cords swelled, cutting off oxygen to her lungs, sending her into cardiac arrest. Now, he is no longer the medical director of Yorkville Endoscopy. He is not accused of wrongdoing at this time. So, Alan, he ran Yorkville Endoscopy. He, what, let the other doctor in? Let the other doctor help? What exactly do we believe happened?
Our information is that the other doctor was there accompanying, observing. She was the ENT for Joan Rivers. She was there watching as Dr. Cohen, who was scheduled to do the procedure, in fact did that. And that what the source close to the investigation tells CNN is that apparently they saw something, and it was mentioned to the ENT, and the ENT then jumped in and decided to do the biopsy. Totally unscheduled, spontaneous biopsy in a clinic that says they've never done that before.